Hey everybody, Dr. Scott Keller here from Synergy Chiropractic here again this week, working on shoulder mobility. The first week we went over some pec release work with a pec stretch using lacrosse ball and then just stretching it out. Last week, obviously some foam rolling on the lat, followed by the banded lat stretch, similar to this position there. This week what we're going to do is get into more of a front rack position mobility exercise, so kind of to open up this, once again, kind of the lat and posterior shoulder. So first of all, a couple technique things just with the barbell. Most of us probably have been coached from our awesome coaches at CrossFit Lincoln, but if you're in a front squat or a clean position, okay, so my hands are a little further outside or wider than my elbows, and obviously we all want and know that we should have our forearms pretty parallel to the floor, our elbows are up, okay? So from a side angle here, okay, my elbows up, and obviously my forearms parallel to the floor. The longer you can keep that position, obviously the better you're going to be in your technique. So a lot of people, when they start descending into a front squat, the elbows drop, and once we see, this part of our forearm perpendicular to the floor, you're in trouble. Your form and technique's going to break down. You're going to bend and flex at the waist and probably drop or dump that barbell or just have really poor mechanics throughout your spine. So there's a couple things just real quick. First of all, this stretch and this mobility to get a better front rack position is not by any means the only thing you should be doing. Really important this week, I want you guys all to start with some foam rolling and thoracic spine extension work, okay? So once again, from the side, if I'm in a front rack position here, if I don't have the ability to extend through my mid-back and my thoracic spine correctly, I'll never be able to reach this position properly, okay? And what we don't want to do also is hyperextend the lower back. So if you feel like you're here and you feel a lot of pressure across your lower back, once again, you're probably not adequately extending the thoracic spine. So make sure you mobilize that. Let's just spend a minute to 2 minutes foam rolling our thoracic spine, maybe using that peanut as far as the thoracic extension work. And then let's get into this, okay? This stretch here, you're going to feed your arm through the band like this. I like to have the band right on the back side of my elbow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the band with my hand, and then I'm going to turn my forearm and my palm so they're facing up like we would in an actual front squat or a clean receiving position, okay? What I'm going to do is then step forward. I like to have my opposite foot forward, whatever's comfortable for you, but more than likely it's going to be kind of this staggered stance here. And you're going to let that band pull your arm straight back up towards the ceiling, okay? Now, a lot of people, once again, same thing I said last week, will just kind of want to hang out in this position, and that's okay. I mean, that's just called a static stretch, and you can get some good stretching mobility through there. Just like last week, though, I like the contract, relax part of this. So if you get into this position here, and we just push the band or my elbow down towards this hip here a little bit, activating my lat and kind of lower and middle trap, just like that. I'm going to hold that for 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then I'm going to let it relax and pull my arm a little bit further up. Okay, so I'm going to hang out and relax for 5 or 6 seconds. I'm going to contract again, so you'll see this part here activating as I just lightly push down with my elbow. Okay, once again, using right here and relax. And each time you'll feel like maybe you'll be able to go back a little bit further again and again, okay? Now, a couple other points just from a side view. Just like last week again, if I'm going from the side here, one of the tendencies here is to hyperextend the lower back as we kind of get into this stretch, okay? Because the lat muscle actually is a low back extensor, okay? Which is kind of weird to think about. So what I want you guys to do, just like previous weeks, engage your core a little bit, make sure your rib cage isn't flared up and out. I want the ribs down so you're really solid and stable through your core to prevent hyperextension through the lower back, all right? When you do that, okay, here, you're going to get a truer stretch through that lat, okay? So, just to reiterate, the steps I want you to take this week, coaches, in the classes, foam roll for 1 minute to 2 minutes in the thoracic spine. Get that extension in the spine, and then follow it up with this stretch. and you can, give them a minute on each side, but really just 5 or 6 contract relax cycles is usually sufficient. But just keep going until you feel like you just can't go anymore and you got some good mobility. So once again, any questions, be happy to answer them. Scott@synergylincoln.com is my email. Just shoot me an email, ask the coaches, and hopefully this is a good one for you guys to start working on that front rack.